Well, happy Sunday, everyone, and welcome back to our second week of Fun with Filters. If you weren't here last week, go ahead back into the blog and make sure you see that. That was our very first season 2 episode. So we're going to be doing a few weeks of having fun with filters. So this one we're going to be using a flower. Now you don't have to use a flower, but flowers look pretty cool with this sort of filter. But anything that you work on during any of these Sunday snippets, and you want to share them, go ahead and put them inside of our private Facebook community because I love seeing what everybody does with these filters. If you want to watch the whole entire class and you are a member, go inside of the Academy and go down to 2020 members classes. And you will see it says Fun with Filters with Michelle. You can go ahead and do a search on filters. It will pop up as well. And you can watch the entire class. So hope you enjoy this Sunday snippet and I will talk to you soon. Bye for now. All right, the next little segment is artistic, which I think a lot of you will like. I'm going to go ahead and pull up this one because I did a bunch of different samples so you can kind of visualize them before you do them. And these, let me just turn that one off. That one's called Stylized Glowing Edges, if you wanted to know. This top one is called Texture Mosaic. So if you go into Filter, I'm going to go to this bottom one because it won't let me do it unless I'm selected with something. Filter, Artistic, and then I picked out a few of them that I really like. Now the watercolor is pretty interesting as well. Let me just make a copy of that layer and let's go back into that filter and use watercolor just to see. Now I wanted to do these prior to the class because sometimes these filters, they take a lot of memory. They're memory hogs. And when I'm doing a class, sometimes it will stall on me. So once you get into this artistic area, there are hundreds of different things you can do. And you can take these brushes and change them. But I thought the watercolor was one of my favorites. And another one that I really like is the poster edges. That one's pretty cool because then it looks more like a graphic instead of a photo. But the cool thing is you come over here and you can change the thickness of the edges, the intensity of the edges, and see how it's taking its own little sweet time. The posterization also can be moved. So these little sliders can be moved once you get into this little area. There's also brush strokes. Again, lots and lots of different options to choose from. The sketch, I've never really liked the sketch at all, but let's just try a charcoal. I don't know, maybe you would use that for something. Bas relief, that's pretty interesting, but I've never really used this. But oh, you know what? This stamp is pretty cool. You can make a stamp out of that. So I just kind of thought about that. So both of the Lindas say that's really cool. Yeah, I just never really used the sketch area, but now that I see it, the stamp is kind of interesting. So, so let's see, how do I get out of there then? Where's my little OK button? Let's click on OK. Oh, and then you can change it over here too. See, I'm learning with y'all. So really kind of cool. Look at that. And this might be another area where you could do that side profile thing for let me take this up a little bit. Okay, so now I'm getting a little bit crazy with it, but you can see that maybe with some of your flowers or even with a dog might look kind of cool. You never know. This one here was the Stylized Glowing Edges, which I thought was kind of artsy and kind of cool. It's taking its own sweet time. Sorry. Come on. Okay, I'm gonna have to be patient because I clicked it 3 times, I think, and then it said, wait a minute. There's the stylized glowing edges. So that was found under artistic. And you can just go into any of these if you want to, because then it will bring up that whole panel. So let's just say colored pencil. And then within there is when you can go into all of those other ones. So this one happened to be style, it was under stylized glowing edges. There we go. So interesting. But yeah, you have so many different things to go on. And here's a little texture too. You can add, you know, patchwork. You can add texturizer. So if you kind of go in real deep, it looks texturized, like kind of like a canvas type of a thing. I'm just going to cancel that. And then this one right here is the brush strokes one. Couple seconds here. So that's the brush strokes. So let's zoom in there a little bit. I think that's pretty darn cool. And this one here, of course, was that poster edge. In a second here, once it shows it. Yeah, and doing this with flowers, I found I spent like 25 minutes just kind of like going through some of my flower photos because I'm really getting into that. This one here is the texture mosaic. So that's kind of cool. It's got that texture mosaic kind of feel. Okay, so, you know, just doing that with several of these different flowers. Just going to open up one more photo of a flower. I like to get real close to the flowers because I think it looks really cool. And then filter, artistic. Let's just go into colored pencil first. And I'm going to go down to watercolor. I kind of want to see what that looks like. That's pretty cool. And of course, again, you can play around with the intensity. Click on OK, and then it will apply it. Okay. What are you guys thinking about these so far? Have you ever played around with these filters? Did you know they were there? Just anxious to see if anybody has really gotten into them.